Hi there, it's Julian here. Late on what is it? It's Thursday, late Thursday night. So if I do yawn a little bit, just forgive me. It's been, here we go. Oh boy, it's been a long day, long week. Working real hard at the moment to get a few things up and running, and pretty excited about what's going on actually. It's been at least 2 years in the making, probably three. Um, Ever since I started on Amazon, I was doing great. I always had this thing in the back of my head that there was a few concerns, about not having control and being so vulnerable, and I wanted to do something about it. And I've worked out my own system. I've done well on Shopify too, but to cut a very long story short, you're just a little bit too open to vulnerabilities on those platforms, and we can talk about that some other time. This video is all about the niche marketing stuff I've been sort of saying to you, and I wanted to show you more detail of the image I sent you with the, I think it was $2 million at the bottom, if you were paying attention, and 218,000 in green was written on the screen, and I didn't tell you what the niche was. So I'm going to reveal that to you now, and try and explain to you what I'm doing to ensure that I know that I'm going into a market I can dominate, usually within 2 to 6 months. Depends on the market. Some are more, they're more competitive, so it might take you 6 to 12 months, but really worth it at the end. So it comes down to finding the market that suits where you're at. How much can you spend, how much time, and that whole concept in itself just shatters everything that we've done before when we think about Amazon, where you look at a bestseller, find a product between 10 and 40 bucks, under a pound, all that stuff, order from China, the Chinese copy you send it by sea, hope customs passes it through, hope Amazon check it in okay and don't lose it or damage it. Then you put up the listing. It might go really well for a while. Then you get all the bloody hijackers, and you get all the competition reverse engineering your listing, and then copying you and slamming you, and bad reviews and all the rest of it. We know the drill. Same sort of thing can happen on Shopify too. People have been taught to reverse engineer Shopify stores, find the best sellers, and go and copy them, get all the products off AliExpress, and blah blah blah. That to me is just unoriginal thinking, and I'm not very interested in that kind of thing. If anyone's listened or spoken to me for any length of time, I'm very much about getting connected with a group of people that you want to help in a particular niche. You've got to master it, especially if you're new. It makes it so much easier if you know exactly what to say to the right person, and you refine your speech, you refine your approach, you find that hot button headline that just makes them go, oh my God, you are the person for me. That is the product for me, whatever the thing is you're doing, right? But the principles are pretty much the same across the board, whether it's product, service, or whatever, okay? I like to go for products that sell for a higher profit margin, as long as I'm making at least $100 a unit sale, or I can bundle something together, or I know I can follow up with other products and make at least $100 a month out of a unique visitor coming to my website. Happy boy. I hope that makes sense. Because you'll do exactly the same work for $100 as you will for 10. So you may as well do the 100. That's just the way I think. And I think after all the stuff I've sold, ranging from $10, $15 type products to 1,000 plus, I know which ones I prefer, and it's a no-brainer, really. Excuse me, just needed a drink. Right, so we're talking this whole niche approach that I want to show you, and let me just see if I can bring this up here, because this is really, oh dear. I just love technology. It should work now. Okay, so I've always had this 90 by 90 thing's always been through my head. 90 days with 90 things. Like each day you do something, and you create the business that's going to be a 7-figure or even an 8-figure business. Now it doesn't mean you're going to be making $1 million in 90 days. What I'm saying is businesses that are generating 7-8 figures look and smell and breathe a certain way. Usually, sometimes it's a bit of a false operation, and there's nothing to it, and it doesn't last. That's not what I'm about. I want something that's going to be solid. Or to diversify my income streams within my stores and my entire business. So to give an example of that, what I'm doing is I'm going to have a membership site, I'm going to have subscription models, I'm going to have training, coaching of sorts, consulting to established businesses that are already well established, as opposed to a startup or someone who's been selling on Amazon or Shopify for a couple of years. And have a digital marketing agency that can back up all the processes and systems that I'm going to build up over the next few years to support it. So I've got wholesale outsourcing. Now, to me, that's really smart. I don't know what you think, but I think that's just a smart way to go. Am I going to do it in 2 weeks? No. Am I going to do it right the first time? Absolutely not. I spent the last 18 months, setting up stores with Nido, with BigCommerce, with Shopify. I've had a good look at Magento. That's for down the track when you get real big. And WordPress, and I've obviously been selling on eBay and Amazon. And you get a pretty good idea as to what you're comfortable with and what's good, what isn't, and what's horseshit and all the rest of it. And everyone knows I'm not a massive fan of all the NLP sales hype guru crap. I'm not into that. It's just not where I am at all. But can you do this? Can you build the infrastructure over a 90-day period? Absolutely. And I talk a lot about planning and research and how you build the web architecture. And I talk about the web ring system and how you build your authority within the niche and create your content. It's not rocket science, it's all common sense at the end of the day. Now, some of the technical stuff around the web architecture is mind-numbing. I'm not a tech person at all, and you're probably laughing or crying, one or the other, if you've tried to build any kind of site, even on Shopify. If you try to customize a Shopify store, which is actually really simple to do, for a lot of people, that's just way beyond them, and it's no criticism at all if you're that kind of person. I can't do it. I don't want to do it. It's the last thing I want to do. So, wouldn't it be great though if you could go from being in a situation where you're not making a lot of money and you're not feeling like you're making much progress, and you can get this done in 90 days. Now, I've got to tell you, I've got to be really honest here. The last 12 months of trying to work this out has been hell. Finding the right outsources and the right system, and trying to get someone to understand what I want and what I'm doing, and then people saying they can do something and they don't do it, and they don't know how to do it, and I know what I want to do, but they say they can do it and then they can't do it, and it's just infuriating. So if you're having those sorts of challenges, don't think it's just you. We all suffer from it, and I can promise you there's a lot of so-called experts out there that are selling courses that make it look like they've got everything under control so well, and they never have any problems. It's absolute hogwash. So I could quite easily put together all kinds of courses, probably on stuff that I haven't really done very well at, and make it look like I have, and make you believe that I'm some sort of genius at everything and I don't have any problems. That's just not the way it is. It's not reality. So this whole thing that I'm sort of thinking of with the pilot group and my coaching is to be real and to face those challenges together. And I want to work with that group for the next 12 or 18 months to make damn sure that you learn everything that you need to learn, that you build everything that you need to build, and you become an e-commerce business person. An e-compreneur is what I call them. You're an e-commerce entrepreneur, so you're an e-compreneur, and you're making at least 30k a month. That's a really good target, 30,000. Everyone talks about 10,000 a month, and it's like, yeah, it'll pay your bills and everything. 20 is like getting good. 30 is absolutely. If you're netting 30,000 a month, you're doing 336 grand a year net. That's like $500,000 a year, whatever in tax terms. So So you know, I like that number. It's $1,000 a day, 10 sales of $100, nice and simple. Okay, with me? Fantastic. So what I'm going to show you now is this niche that I was cruelly hiding from you before. And show you how I can find. It's not really an obscure niche. It's probably not something that everyone would think about, but I think it's becoming more front of mind for a few people because they're hearing about it more and more in the news and things like that. But in terms of selling it, especially if you've done some of the other courses that say small, light, and not over 50, 60 bucks, this is not something you would even think about. But it's an e-commerce product that you can, even with just part of it, make at least 80,000 a year. And the screenshot I sent you was like 218,000. So it's better than that. All right. So let's just go and have a little look-see here. And this is what I was looking at, 3D printers. Okay, now I'm using a VPN because I'm in Australia, San Francisco. ExpressVPN, fantastic little service. Easily my favorite VPN service. So, you know, first thing I want to do is when I get an idea is I come and have a look at Google Shopping and just see what's going on, you know, and nice price points. I mean, all of these are making at least, well, that's probably 60 bucks, but everything else is hundreds, you know. So this is really important to have a look at first, you know. Look at this, 13 grand. So I want to see what brands are there, and I want to see if these brands I can drop ship them, or I can become a distributor of some, you know, an online distributor. You know, and I look at all the different keyword combinations, and you know, get a little feel for it, and I drill into this with the software that I've got that looks at the market and looks at the keywords. So the market software looks at like an overview, it's like a helicopter view of the relationship between all the different keywords. And I use that for what I call the cluster bombing technique, because it gives me a really good look at how everything is interrelated, and I can bomb all those terms that are interrelated to get a great result in terms of search engines. But not only that, the keywords are related to what people are searching for with commercial intent, and that's the most important thing. We want to have qualified traffic that are people that want to buy such stuff. They're not just tire kicking and going through the usual Google search, like inquiring and making searches for information, right? So when I see products like this, you know, selling for at least 250, there's always going to be products that are like this. And you know, are there accessories? Yes, there's lots of accessories for this sort of thing. There's all kinds of nozzles and cleaners and plates and filament spools and cleaners and other sorts of tools, nozzles, whatever. I guess at that. So yeah, that's kind of good. Let me just see what we've got here. So yeah, there's just other products, and you can see the brand name there. So I tend to just sort of have a little look around. Here's the spools, right? So you can, people tend to use a lot of this. I don't know much about 3D printers at all, but in the last couple of days I've learned a little bit. And they use quite a lot of this stuff. So you can do packs of 5, 10, 15, 20. Subscription model, all right? Just a little idea for you. If you know how to do all this sort of stuff, you can do a lot with this market. So here's another one, 200 bucks. Nice, that's a nice price point. You know, you can make 800 to 100 bucks on that easy when you add all the filaments and the other things, the maintenance tools that you're gonna sell with it. You know, you can take that up to 350. So that's my benchmark, is getting at least $100 net profit, especially if you can get it in one transaction, not in a couple. This here is one of the main competitors, and you can see that this is how I find out about the different makes and the different products. So you can bundle printers with scanners and the filaments, and there's different types of filaments, right? So you can do lots of content around what goes with what, and yeah, it's a good market. This is a good example of a good market, right? Then we've got yes, I'll explain this a little bit more in a minute, because what I want to show you now is some of the data that I get, because I'm not looking at 3D printers per se, and that's important because there's a different set of words in here. If I go into 3D printers, a lot more competitive, but it's a different set of words. And you can see here that this is in the United States. Domains by organic rank value, domains by estimated annual search volume. You're not going to understand this 100% right now, and you don't need to. All you need to know is that this is basically telling us where all the action is and where all the money is. Action, money, right? 29% and 43% of the action is being taken by this company, 3dprinting.com, and that's what I had here, 3dprinting.com. Now, look, ads. You can put your ad here and here. There's another one down here and down here, right? So you can design your own ads, put them on Google Display Network, and have them show up on sites like this. Okay. Now, I think I did, yes, SimilarWeb. I don't know if you've used this website before. Most of you will probably have heard of it. So we can put ads on this site, and they're getting about, well, it depends on which sites you look at, but it could be anywhere from 200 to 300,000 visitors every single month, and you can put your ad in front of them. And if you can convert, you know, 0.5% maybe, you can do very, very well. You know, whether it's building a list or selling products, but you probably sell product off this because they're looking for the products. You know, you can also put a lead magnet on there, something like that. There's tons of ways of doing this, but I just want to give you the concept first. On other sites, I've seen that the rank was about half that, it was about 50,000. But it's still doing well. You know, anything under sort of 500,000 is doing pretty well in America. Steady. Most of the traffic's coming obviously in the States. This isn't really that relevant, but just thought I'd squeeze down. So if you haven't seen this before, you can see no display advertising, but that could be because I've got my membership open here. Other interests, that's always good. And then related websites is always good to look at. You know, competitors up here. You see the different similar types of websites. You could probably advertise on there as well. So, you know, that's just something to have a think about. Advertising, SimilarWeb. Yes, and then I was looking at some of the different terms here, which we'll have a look at now. So that deals with the pie charts. I'm just going to say that these are the keywords that I was looking at. Now, there's obviously a lot more keywords than this, but I wanted to give you an idea based on $100 profit. But I've done it. The other figures were based on 250, 1.5% conversion rate. That's nothing. Average is 2. So I'm using conservative numbers on here. 17% click-through rate. If you're ranking, you should be getting 25 to 35. So that's about half. Okay. Don't worry about the article numbers. I know that looks massive, but these are really just to do with the links, and it doesn't mean you have to do 10,805 articles to rank for that. This is the more important thing to look at. Medium is going to take anywhere from 3 to 6 months. Hard's going to take anything from 6 to 9, 12 months, and very difficult could be a year to 2 years, right? But you know, this is just a way to be able to see which terms you would go for. For example, you've got potential 37,000 a year based on these figures up here. It's conservative. 1,432 backlinks. It's medium. There's a reason for that. But you can see there's another one up here. See 16,000. You've got a lot less difficulty there. So this 3D printer kit which sort of came up before. So hang on, sorry about that. Someone at the door. Yeah, this one was sort of jumped out at me because it was still pretty strong. Low there. See what I mean? Like 13,000, 16. Even though it's still medium, that's sort of an indicator that it's probably going to be easier to go and chase. And this is by no means the best example. I just wanted to take something that was completely left field that I just know literally nothing about. But that's still very good. You know, this filament stuff. But you've got filament globes. You've got to be careful that you look into the words and don't mistake them for something that's not related. Like a filament globe has got nothing to do with this, right? 3D printers, you know, they're getting hard, and well, printer ink's not really relevant, so you can take 55 grand out of that anyway. Okay, so that gives you a bit of an idea, right, of what we can look at and what sort of money you can make based on these figures, right? So when I got into here, and I sent you this, I've changed it to 250. I've kept it at 1.5, and kept it at 17. You can definitely make 250 as an average per visitor. There's no question, and you can see the impact that it has on the figures here. You don't need to worry about these so much. I mean, yes, you're going to target, not this one, but you're going to target these three here, and you'd use different sort of strategy for these. They're going to be harder to go for, so you're probably going to use PPC, okay? And the blueprints that I do will cover the PPC strategy on parts of the market that are going to take you a lot longer to rank for, right? But you can still make money on these, no problem, right? But this is the bit I'm really interested in, because the thing about PPC is it's getting more and more expensive all the time, and it is a skill. It takes a good 6 months to get good at Facebook. It's a 6 month deal, and you're probably going to lose at least $500 if you really put your mind to it. You're going to burn $500 to $1,500. So just accept the fact that that's probably going to happen. And most people don't tell you that. But I can tell you there's so many lessons to learn here, and if you've only been doing this for a while, haven't been doing it at all, it's good to have people around that have walked the path before you. So you've got these different things here, and I can tell you now that there's a lot more going on in this market. And when I do a webinar about what I'm doing, I might go into a little bit more detail of this. We'll do a completely different market, but just know that there's a lot more to this than just what's on this page. But wouldn't you be happy with that? And the great thing about this is it's just the organic search. I mean, if you're going to specialize in a market, you may as well hang around for a while and get this happening, hey? And if you can do that in 6 months, just by writing good content and knowing how to structure the web architecture and understanding what this market is looking for and what they want, you've got to solve their problems, you've got to solve their pain points, not just throw up a product anywhere and be so product focused. And this is the shift that I want you to understand, more than the number that you're looking on here and the product. This is just it's not the main focus. It shouldn't be the main focus. The main focus should be that you're operating in a market that you're interested in, and you know the person that's buying these sorts of products, what their problems are. So you've got to find their problems first and match the problem to the product, which is the solution to the person, because the person who's buying these things is a human being. They've got emotions, they've got problems, and if you help them solve their problems and make their life easier in 3D printing, because that's what we're talking about, and you do all the research and you find all the information for them, they're going to stick with you, and they will be loyal. And if you're really into this stuff, well, you can have a lot of fun with it too. So, and this is the other thing about the group and the people that I've sort of coached over the years, is trying to get them to have fun. And very hard if you just focused on the money all the time and focused on the product and find the hot product and not thinking about the person. So if there's one thing you learn from this short video, it's that it's about the person. But I hope you can see what's going on here. There's a structure in the website called silo structuring. I'm not going to go into detail here, but it's a way of setting up the architecture so the search engines love it and the actual consumer loves it as well. So you're the best of both worlds. And you don't have to do tons of backlinking to get the rankings. So getting this sort of ranking here is actually not too hard. Now, there is something else I've got to show you here, and here it is. Right, so we were talking about 3D printing before, remember? This website here. Yep. So what I can do is go in to 3D printer kit. Remember I was saying you before that came to my mind when I was looking at this 3D printer kit, remember? Only a few articles required, backlinks. Medium ranking difficulty, but that sort of makes me feel like it's probably very close to being easy. And there's 40 grand a year you can get from that one term, right? It's pretty exciting. So, where was I? I was here. There we go. Now, as a basic rule of thumb, domain authority of 35 or less, piece of cake. 35 to 40, you have to do a bit more work, but it's not impossible to beat it, right? And a site like 3dprinting.com, we already know that we can put ads on there, so it's not a big deal, is it? But these are the top 5 ranking sites. Look at this: 30, 14, 7. Page authority is pathetic. Low domain quality for pretty well all of them. The trust citation flow, don't worry about it too much, but other than this one here, it's poor. And this is why these are medium, even though they've got higher domain authority. This is why they're coming up as a medium level ranking difficulty to knock off. So not massive amount of relevant pages either. There's a few gaps in here in terms of how the SEO on-page structure is, and don't worry about this. Google Trends, bit of a up and down movement, but it's pretty constant. Don't really worry about this too much. It's just talking about lots of reflection of this, really, in terms of relevant page size. So you match that size to this here, and the color to there. So you know how dominant it is in the search engines. It's not really. It's got high trust. Remember I said before, good trust flow, citation flow. These guys haven't, and their rank authority is sort of okay, but you can definitely dominate this market. So 3D printer kits sell for around about $500, like so. So we're probably going to make more like, you know, 200 for the unit, but you can add bundle items to it. You can definitely make 250 average from a visitor buying this sort of product. Yeah, so hopefully you've got the gist of what this is all about. Now, what I'm going to be doing is putting niche market reports together. And the niche market report is going to be an overview of the entire category, you know, like maybe it's pets, and then we'll talk about dogs, and then we'll talk about a specific breed of dog or a specific product, dog accessory that's got some real meat to it, and we'll put it into this kind of format. Okay, we'll have the data, we'll have a look at affiliate programs and the influencers and the bloggers and particular strategies you could use to try and dominate it. I'll do a video explaining the data, coming up with a few ideas, It will only be on a small section of the market, and we'll see how we go with that. If you need more and you demand more, then I'll have to work harder, won't I? But I think it's going to be enough because you can definitely get overwhelmed with a lot of this information, and that's what we don't want to have happen. What I want to instill amongst the group is laying solid foundations. You need to know the market, and the most important thing you need to know is who's buying this stuff and why they're buying it, and what are the problems associated with it. So I'll definitely be adding some of the pain point things that you can do, like to find why, what is the problem and why, and what solves that problem. Why are people buying 3D printer kits, for example? Now, I haven't done a ton of research on this. I might be able to find printer kits that sell for $1,000. I'm sure there are. I've only seen a handful of brands for the moment. So, when you start digging into this properly, you can turn the numbers into a lot bigger than that. Okay, and this is the organic, and that's what gets me super excited about this for the long term, is that we've now worked out how to do the planning and the research and getting the data to put through the software and through the processes that I go through to be able to really map out a good strategy and a good approach to tackling the market. Now, like everything in this industry, things are a work in process constantly because everything's changing all the time. But the fundamentals are going to stay the same. A market has people buying stuff for a reason, and you've got to find out what that reason is and what the trends are and what's moving. And if you focus on one market and you really drill down into it, you've got a much better chance of understanding it, much better chance of finding opportunities and building relationships with one group of suppliers and contacts and connections and going to the trade expos and all that sort of stuff than you are if you're doing lots of different products. And I felt that from day one on Amazon. Excuse me, that it was just too general, and you were really hoping and praying for Amazon love. Fortunately, we got a lot of it, but they were a pain in the ass to deal with as well, and they still are. That's never going to change. But Amazon has its purpose, and I will be doing my version of Amazon down the track with the pilot group and with the coaching and the consulting that I do. There's a certain way that I go about Amazon, and that's the way I like it because it's underground. I don't want to be, up in lights, and I don't want Amazon to be my #1 primary source of income because it's too vulnerable. So if we can build or lay the right foundations, we do the right plan and research and really understand as much as we can before we enter the market, and we find opportunities like this where it's either medium or it's easy. So I haven't shown you the best ones here for a reason. I don't want you to have multi-million dollars in your mind thinking that you're just going to press a few buttons and make millions of dollars. It doesn't work that way, and if it does, it doesn't last long, right? You need to become a good business person. So understanding your plan and your vision, your research has to be, really understanding that market as best you can. Then we do a blueprint, right? And a blueprint is going to show you how to structure, what to target first, what's going to give you the best ROI sooner rather than later. And then we build out the site, and we do the silo architecture that I sort of mentioned, and we'll go into a lot more detail. Well, not a lot more detail. We'll go into more detail about that because it's technical stuff, and you don't really need to know everything about that. Just know that the silo structure is a way of ranking faster without doing lots of expensive backlinking and all that tiresome stuff. You just let it do its thing over a couple of months, and it's extremely powerful, and it's very good for the reader too because everything's compartmentalized. Okay, so it's easy to follow. So yeah, once you've got that all built, obviously, and you've got your email set up, you've got your lead magnet set up, you've got if you've got a members area or loyalty programs or whatever it is, you know, your pop-ups and all that kind of thing. Your retargeting is obviously critical. And I'll go into more detail about the traffic system that I put together. I've got the traffic triangle method. You know, all this is like just the building blocks that we put together. So in that first 90 days, we're going to put together these building blocks, lay the foundations, and then you can promote. And then you test and measure as you go. Right? So you're split testing your offers, seeing where your consumers are going. Are you gaining traction in a certain area and not in another? And then you're tweaking it and you're making it better and better as you go, and building your momentum. And gradually you start to rank, you know, and it can take 2 weeks, it can take 2 years. These will take a couple of years. These will take anywhere from a few weeks once you've done your content to, you know, maybe 3-4 months. You know, so we've got to make sure that we keep monitoring this. It's critical that you monitor. You've got to test and measure and track things. But most people don't do that. So that's something we all have to get better at, including myself. And, you know, the pilot group that I want to work with will be focusing a lot on that as we move forward. First step is just getting this concept into your mind, and let me know what you think about it. I'll probably put this up onto some sort of page where you can do a comment and like it, and let me know what you think. And I look forward to sending you some more videos about what I'm doing. And yeah, take care. We'll talk soon.